resin keychain using a acrylic keychain and vinyl initials and then epoxy resin when you're all set. The first thing you need to do is have Adobe Illustrator open and Google open. There's different ways you can search like a keychain shape. If you want a different keychain shape than what I have, you could just Google search. Remember, we need it to be black and white so that when we image trace it, Adobe Illustrator will pick it up. So this is kind of like the hotel key one I have, but maybe you go to here, maybe you open image in new tab and you decide you want to screenshot one of those. I've already screenshotted the heart, but I will show you now what we do with that. So should I come over to Adobe? Let me move that down. So I screenshotted the heart. I'm going to bring it into Adobe. The first thing you want to do is image trace. Remember to pause the video as needed. Please don't try and watch the whole video and then figure out what to do after. Just pause as you go. You're going to do default, expand, and then you're going to use the Y to erase the background. Now, like right now, all of that's a cut. That's not what I want. So you're going to select it all and you're going to use this to flip. So now it's a cut and a cut for the whole. Now, like if you're on this white arrow, so if you're on this arrow, it's all going to be like as one. But if you go to this one, you can go in and like, I could honestly, like that is the funkiest hole ever. I'm honestly just going to delete it, use L, and make my own hole. You might want to move it a little closer. Remember, you can only move circles by clicking on the center. So maybe I do that, I scroll out. All right, this is my SVG cut. So I'm going to go to the file, export as, I'm going to call it keychain heart, needs to be a SVG. Needs to make sure it's going to your desktop over here. Then you're going to export it. That's what we're going to use to cut the acrylic. All right, if you kind of like confirm it's there, it's right here, keychain heart. You can get rid of that screenshot. And since I know it's there, I can actually do Command A and delete. The next thing we need to do is our large letter. So for the large letter, you're just going to do a letter here. You can see I have a Disney font installed in here, but say I'm going to do a D for Dawson. That one's kind of cute. But if you don't have the Disney font, you can do this differently. So say you're like, okay, I want the Disney font. You're going to go back to your website. You're going to go to the font. Okay. From here, you could type in Disney in the search. And you don't want to use these. This is going to like take you to another ad. But you want to use here, Disney search, and then maybe I'm going to do Dawson in Disney letters. I want to see, I don't think there's 200 versions of Dawson Disney, but like that one's pretty cool. So from here, I actually like this one with the big D. All right, Command Shift 4. And you want to pull that to your desktop. Oh, these are kind of cute. Kind of scary. Kind of inappropriate. All right. So I've got the word Dawson. Maybe you just want an initial. Oh, sorry. That was like the search. Submit. So otherwise you can just make a text box in Adobe. Maybe I'll do like the Disney letter, but bigger. Because you know you're going to have the one large letter kind of as the initial, and then you're going to have the word underneath of it. So I'm going to Command Shift 4, whatever you need to do to screenshot that. So now we're just going to, and like you could honestly do any sort of font. If you're just on the home page, there's like Groovy. I've done some cool letters with that. Just know once you generate your large letter and your small word. Ooh, that's super cool. Even this would look neat on vinyl. Once you've used dafont.com to generate your large letter and your small letter, you want to bring them both into Adobe Illustrator. So sometimes it takes a while to load. There's one coming in. There's the other one. They just look crazy. Let's see. La-di-da. Oh, okay, so if I move them. So you kind of want to imagine, I need to be on this one to move size. Kind of want to imagine now that they're going to be on top of each other. So once you kind of get how to look, I think that's probably the right size. You want to image trace both. So image trace, default, expand. You want to use the Y key to click into the background and delete. The only last bit is that you want to select all that. You want to flip your colors right here. Just like we did with the keychain. You can zoom in. Yeah, it looks good. This one we're going to image trace, default, Upsy. So if it all disappears, you just want to Command Z. Oh, I didn't expand. I was like, why is it not selecting? And you want to delete, then you want to select it, and you want to flip the colors. From here, if you think that this is the size, you just want to scoot them up. You want to make sure they're both selected, and you want to go export as, and you want to do DXF. Autodesk Grill, and I'll call it Dawson Disney Vinyl. So now we've done the keychain, we've done the large vinyl, and we've done the small vinyl. Now, if these aren't both selected, when you get into Silhouette Studio, you won't even be able to edit the size. Okay? So I encourage you to explore Dafont, see what you can find. I try and keep deleting these as we go. It is right here, Dawson Disney Vinyl DXF. So now you would go into Silhouette Studio to cut the vinyl. You could send me the SVG to cut your keychain unless you want to just use the hotel key shape, which is this one, or the heart key shape. I'll cut some of those. And Silhouette Studio is opening. Remember, you really want to pay attention to the Silhouette Studio workspace, because that shows you exactly how to lay the vinyl on the cutting mat. So the same grid that you see on the cutting mat is the same grid you're going to see in your Silhouette workspace. There's different ways. If you have show grid not selected, you're not going to see it, but you always want to say show grid. I kind of look at these bolder lines. They're just bold by a little bit. They're in inches. So if I'm looking at my keychain, I can kind of tell, well, I don't want it to be 6 inches. So even if they're together, and so you can't exactly tell how wide each one is, you can tell here. So that one's kind of fitting in. It's about 1 inch by 1 inch. So that should be good. And this one's about 1.5 inches by 1/2 inch, actually kind of small. So you're going to want to set this up on your workspace. And then I always do extra copies. So now you know when you set your color that you're going to need to go 1, 2 of one color and 1, 2 of another color. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 inches down. So a 2 inch by 5 piece of vinyl, a 2 inch by 5 piece of vinyl, and you should be good. The only other thing, now you would go to send. You want to make sure it's vinyl matte. I'm not hooked up, but you want to make sure that the force is at, or the cutting depth is at 3. Sorry. All right, good luck. At the end of this, you should be able to create your SVG for the keychain, your small text vinyl, and your large text vinyl.